I'm back, and today's video I'm going to be doing a Q&A because I have been very busy over the past few weeks. I think I haven't put out a video for like 4 or 5 weeks, and I do apologize, but I've had a lot going on with work and my business and studying, and there was no organic time for me to slot in and film a video without it feeling like work and hard work, and you know, that is not what YouTube for me is about. So when my good friend Dale from the channel Dale's Addiction put up a Q&A request yesterday, I thought, oh, perfect, I'm gonna steal that idea and do a Q&A to get me lubricated. Is that the right word? Lubed? Lubed back in. Slide on back into the YouTubes and we can do a little catch up with the Q&A. So I put my request out on my YouTube community page, which you're only going to see if you're subscribed to my channel, and on my Instagram story, which is theclosetbyconnor_. I got a lot of questions from you guys, so I'm excited to jump on in. I'll try to do it like podcast style, so I won't put too much like photos and stuff up on the old video. So if you are driving or cleaning the house or just having me playing on in the background of your residence, then you can do that. So yeah, let's jump on in. But if it is your first time here, my name is Connor, and on my channel I like to talk about all things luxury. So if that's something you're into, I'd love it if you could hit the subscribe button and the bell button so you're notified when I bring out new videos. And if you're returning, welcome back to my channel. Now I'm going to start with the YouTube community questions. There's not very many because I only put this up, I don't know, 10 hours, 12 hours ago, so I'm just going to go with what's here, but the majority are on Instagram. But this first one comes from Newfie Loves Luxury, and she's asked a big question. What do you think about the fashion industry, in particular Louis Vuitton, needing to do to get people really interested again? Nearly every luxury YouTuber seems to be a little uninspired lately. I would like to get back to the older content and not just new bags and their bag reviews, what fits, and more details on bags. For me, I used to watch to be more inspired to save for a special bag or to make similar content creation and share it, but it's become so different lately. That's a great question. And if you ever hear me say that's a great question, it means I'm thinking about what I'm going to say because I've not read any of these. I think there's two things. I think that the demand for luxury purchasing over the past 10 years has changed. Obviously, 15, 20, 25 years ago, the customer who bought luxury goods or luxury handbags in particular was a certain demographic and a certain caliber of income that would purchase these things. Generally, it was people in their 40s to 50s who, you know, had X amount of discretionary income to spend on luxury, and then that was the demographic. And then obviously in today's world, it's changed. The focus is on a younger generation, and I think that comes with the younger generation is that incessant demand for what's new, that fast fashion mentality. And you might not think of luxury brands as fast fashion, but depending on what side of the coin you're looking at it, there are lots of collections constantly dropping, and there's new things always being revealed, and there's a capsule collection and a mid-season capsules collections fucking kneecap. So I think what's happening is there's so much like, okay, well, what's next? And we're getting that fatigue from seeing so many collections dropping, and because the frequency of the collections are increasing, they're just not putting out that greater stuff. And I probably over the last 18 months, I've been very conscious about what I'm buying for the simple fact of things are quite expensive for what they are. And you know, within the luxury world, we know that things cost a lot of money, but for me to pay $6,000-$7,000 for something, I've got to really love it, and it's got to be really different, and it's going to have certain attributes that I'm willing to put my money towards. And if I know that this bag that Louis Vuitton's brought out for this umpteenth capsule collection, they're going to do it again in the following capsule collection, just changing the hardware color or adding a different strap onto it, to me that the gloss of the luxury experience or the luxury purchase is lost, because I know that they're just going to replicate it so frequently just with a minor adjustment. So that's why I guess an example would be with my Loewe mini puzzle bag with the clouds. That kind of bag from that Lunar New Year capsule collection was so different, and it had features on it that I loved. I loved the navy, I loved the little cloud details. I love that it was something that was limited in production. I love that it was something that I knew would sell out. That's why I bought it. I didn't risk waiting till I was going to Paris to get it because I knew it was one of those things that I wanted it now and I didn't want to miss out on it. And it wasn't something that I was willing to risk. And I was right because it sold out. So that's what I'm kind of more drawn to. And when things like that come up, I'm really eager to pounce on them because I know that all the stars aligned and it is just something of a caliber that I know won't come out again, or if it does come out again, it's going to be very different. So I think that kind of, what do you call it, fast fashion approach to luxury fashion or luxury purchasing has made YouTubing or that content out there uninspiring. It's having the opposite effect. You'd think more variety, more bags coming out would be more content, but no, we've got that fatigue. So that's why for myself, I'm not someone who is inclined to put out a video every week. I do see a lot of content that gets vlogged twice a week or at least once a week from people, and I'm like, I don't know why you felt obligated to put this video out. It's not different. It's not new. It's not exciting. You're giving an opinion, but you're not really giving me an opinion. You're just saying, you know, a very wishy-washy way about something just for the sake of putting out a video. And I think that maybe luxury YouTube should be something that's put out more sparingly because, you know, like really bottling up the good content, and then something comes up that's interesting and you know that your video is going to provide a different opinion or a different take on something, not just director's commentary from somebody else's video where you're not even forming an opinion. I don't know, that's just kind of how I feel on it. I think that for me to click on a video these days, it's got to be pretty interesting, or I like the presenter, I like how they talk about things, I like the little quirks that they have within their personality that really makes the video entertaining. But that's just me. I'm not sure if other people feel differently. But yeah, I think that's my way of answering the question. The next question is from Marie in 5280, and she's asked, what are your top 3 favourite colours? I'll start. Blue, ... Marie, what gave it away? Was it my Cookie Monster attire? Yes, obviously I love blue. Blue's just, for me, one of those colours, when I see it, my eyes just light up, and my eyes are blue, so they go like extra blue. Yeah, I love blue because there's so many different variations of blue, and I feel like blue is one of those colours where it doesn't matter what the shade is, I don't really have one that I dislike, whereas you know, with oranges and reds and browns and yellows, the ones that head more towards the warmer side, so yellow like the more mustard colours, or green the more like baby shit colour green, I don't think anyone likes that, or with the reds the more burgundy reds. I feel like any kind of shade of colour, I like the more fresher tones or the very bright and bold tones. But if I was to say favourite colours just in general, I love orange. I love really bright fresh orange, like my Goyard little pouch that's in my bag, which I have been using, do love. I love like periwinkle blue, which is more like lilac, or more like really light lilac colours. I've got a few more items of clothing inspired by Dale. And what else do I love? I love greens, but more pastel greens. I don't own any clothing in green, funnily enough, because I've just never found anything where I'm like, oh, I like that. But I do like green, and I love, I guess, more jewel tone greens just as a colour in general, like emerald green, or yeah, like forest green colours. Yeah, it just depends, but I'm open to any colour, but it has to be the right colour, and I know what I look good in and what I don't look good in, so yeah, but always blue. Like blue, hands down, it's just my ride or die. The next question has been asked by quite a few of you about the upcoming Loewe puzzle collection for the 10th anniversary, so I'll just do it all in one question because it's going to have a bit of a longer answer. Pretty much my thoughts, what do I like, will I be buying any of them? So basically, if you're unfamiliar, it is the 10th anniversary of the Loewe puzzle bag. Jonathan Anderson, I think when he became creative director in 2014, this was his creation for Loewe, and it was huge. It brought Loewe back into a modern era. It was the, you know, Jody bag for Bottega equivalent, where it brought in a whole new wave of customers. It modernized the brand, and it was just a massive thing. And this year they're doing a kind of what Fendi did, I guess, with the 25th anniversary of the baguette. They're doing the same for the puzzle bag, but for the 10th anniversary. And they brought out, I think it's, I can't remember off the top of my head, is it 19 re-editions of the puzzle bag and then one new version, I believe. But I had a look. Actually, my friend Nadia sent me the ad, and it was only a few days ago, and I thought I misread the article, and I thought it was saying like, here are, you know, previous versions of the puzzle bag, like which one's your favorite? And I didn't realize it was like a re-edition situation, and then I started seeing it more and more on Instagram, and I was like, what is going on here? So now that I know what's going on, I believe they're getting released on the 29th of May. I think it's like you need to have an essay scenario. I'm not sure, but realistically, all of the bags that are in that collection, I actually wouldn't buy any of them just purely on how they look. I think a lot of them are very cool. I'm just going to bring them up. Give me 1 second. Okay, so with these bags, right, they are pretty hefty in price. I think they all kind of sit around the $9,500, $10,000 mark. So, you know, they're really paying a premium for this. But my favorite of them is firstly the Paul Ibiza parrot one with the denim flap and then all the different colors. I think this was from, I'm just going to wait for this to load. I believe this one was from 2017, like the Paul Ibiza collection in, FY, for winter 17. And yeah, I just love all the different elements on this one. One of the cool things that they did with this re-edition, which Fendi should have done, total missed opportunity, because with the Fendi baguettes, you've definitely paid that premium for the re-edition as well. So each of the puzzles from this re-edition come in a special collector's packaging, including a jigsaw puzzle related to that bag, and they come with a magazine that basically recalls the story of it, and they come with like a little bag charm relevant to that re-edition, which I think is really cool. So it's good to get something a little bit more personalized for this, but that's probably one that I love. The second is the baseball one. Their website is so slow, the pressure. But yeah, the baseball one that they have, it's in suede. It's got like the little baseball stitching running up the side. And there was one other one that I liked. Which one was it? Oh, it's the Cowboy re-edition. So this Cowboy one comes from Fall Winter 2019 Women's Pre-Collection. And I just obviously love all the blues in this, the silver hardware, and the puzzle that this one comes with, like the actual physical puzzle that it comes in the box, is a cactus, because it's like cowboy themed, and then the little charm is the balloon charm in blue and silver. And then on the inside as well, they all have these plaques that say Puzzle 10 limited edition Loewe made in Spain, like a little metal plate. But yeah, this one also retails for $9,450. So all of these, like, they're cool, but none of them are like, oh wow, I want to be a part of this. Like, I'm not that too, you know, happy, or not happy, but like, what's the word, like champion at the bit for them. And they've also brought out new charms that you can purchase separately for these. So each of the re-editions has a special charm that matches. They're all in like this little monster octopus looking thing, but they're calling them, what are they calling them? Puzz, like as in puzzle, Puzz charms, and they're all about $1,135 as well. So the bag itself comes with like a little balloon charm or a little, I don't know what you'd call it, they're different for each bag, in a colour scheme that matches the bag, and then you can buy separately the little Puzz charms, which are like a little monster thing, quirky thing for the bag. So I think if you love one of these designs and you're, you know, happy to pay that price, yeah, then do it. I think with the Fendi ones, the premium on it was a bit more realistic, because I feel like the workmanship on the baguettes, where there was all this beading work and, you know, there was so much more that went into it, the different prices for the different bags made a lot more sense. And if you're talking about a re-edition bag from 25 years ago, yeah, of course it's going to be a completely different price. Whereas with Loewe, we're talking about a 10-year span. So some of these bags, they're being re-editioned 3 or 4 years later. So I don't know if that, you know, 3 times the price or double the price kind of thing works, but at least you do get something a little bit special. You get like the box and the puzzle, and you get the charm and the book. So I think, and like the box is actually different as well. So I think in that term, yes, I do like that they've made it very personalized and different, and I like the little plaque on the inside. But yeah, for me, none of them are worth $10,000. So, yeah. Now heading on over to the Instagram questions. The first one is from Jenny Todorova. She's asked, do you have a next bag purchase on the list or something specific in mind? Jenny, I actually do. I have purchased a bag that is, I thought it was going to be here yesterday, but it's not, so it'll probably come on Monday, Tuesday. So that means next week's video will be an unboxing. So I would be doing it right now if it was here, but it is not. So yes, I do. And will I be giving any hints? No, I will not be. So you're just going to have to wait. The next question is from Sky Run the Show. If money was no option, where would you live? Ooh. I would live... Well, first of all, if you're unaware, I live in Brisbane, Australia, and I love living in Brisbane because it is such a easy city to live in. It's probably not the most riveting city in terms of if someone was like, I want to go on a holiday to Brisbane, I'd say, well, we might be a bit bored because there's not a lot to do, but it's great to live in because the way the city's laid out, the way that things are kind of just geographically spread makes it a lot easier to live. Going to work isn't a nightmare. Yes, there's a little bit of traffic, but it's not like Melbourne, Sydney traffic. I feel like you can get anywhere in 25 minutes if you're driving. You know, the weather's great, all of that stuff. So I feel like living here is very easy. I've lived in Melbourne before, I've lived in Sydney before, and Melbourne got to the point where it was taking me like an hour and a half to drive to work, where it would be 20 minutes here, the same distance, and it was doing my head in. So all of those things, you know, just you got to take into account when you're actually living somewhere. But I loved living in Melbourne for all of the other facts. Like, you know, if I had my way, I would live in Brisbane 6 months of the year, Melbourne 6 months of the year, because I love all of the things that come with Melbourne. Yeah, I loved, like, just everything was exciting. There was so many places to visit. There was always some sort of exhibition on or some sort of thing going on to do, right? And yeah, I miss that. But yeah, would I live anywhere else in, like, outside of Australia? I don't know. Probably never permanently. You know, there's countries that I would love to, you know, stay longer in. But I think Australia is always just, there's a certain uniqueness to it, and the culture and just the way of life here is very, very easygoing, and I like the sense of humor that people have, and just all of those things that I would probably myself find it very difficult to live anywhere else. But yeah, hope that answers your question. Sky has also asked, hypothetical spicy question. Your bestie's ex is fair game, yes or no, never? I would say no. Simply, well, for two reasons. One, I'm not that kind of girl, right? And two, like, if you're that close with your best friend and they're dating someone who has become their ex, you would know all the shit things about that person. So me, being cynical, which is very on brand for me, would be like, I don't want to get with that person. I know all of their terrible habits and I know all the things that they do that my best friend didn't like, and why would I put myself in the firing line of that? Of course, secondly, you know, you couldn't backstab your best friend, but, you know, I wouldn't do it. Not for me. Not at all. Next two questions are from Luxury in Reality. Her first one is thoughts on the puzzle soft. Yeah, not a massive fan. I don't like the leather that they've used. I think it was just trying to bring back some customers who left the puzzle shopping game from the Edge version of the puzzle bag, I think. But yeah, I feel like, to me, the appeal of it just never appealed to me. If that, I don't want a puzzle bag that I can slouch into one. The puzzle bag itself is a combination of slouch over time with a structure from the shape of the bag. So like it'll slouch in certain places, like on the lip bit. But I don't want the whole bag to like smush together. So yeah, I don't like it. And also the colours that they brought it out in were very, very boring. So that's my thoughts on it. And secondly, how are you? And have you made moves towards career transition or settled in? The career transition is a bit of a sore spot at the moment. It has been, I feel like it's one step forward, two steps back, and it's taking a lot longer than I anticipated. I think at this point now, because I checked the other day, I've applied for like over 120 jobs, and we are still No, well, we are closer, but not at the same time. So that's parts with the job. With my studying, I'm nearly finished. I've got 2 more assignments. I've got one due on Monday that I need to do this weekend. And then after that, I've got 1 more assignment and then I'm done. So that's gone actually very quickly, and I've learned a lot from that, and it has definitely been something that I don't regret doing at all. But we're just playing the waiting game. I guess the right thing will come up when it's meant to, and I do believe that. I do think that something will come up that I'm meant to do. But until then, we've just got to be putting positive energy out there, and we've got to be keeping our eye on the prize, which is just getting through every day. The next question comes from Helen Mallison, and she's asked, what is a cool understated luxury belt? I guess it depends on what your definition of understated is, but if you mean something where the logo or the belt buckle isn't a logo thing, I think all of the luxury brands do provide a belt that has an inconspicuous logo buckle. Hermes obviously have the Constance H as their, go-to one that a lot of people buy, but they do have so many different buckles that you can pick. Ones that are very inconspicuous, or the H is skewed so it doesn't really look like a H, or whatever. If that's still not your thing, if you want something that's just great quality luxury brand but just a belt, just a normal belt, I feel like Tod's do make a lot of great leatherware. Obviously they make shoes primarily and bags, but their belts, if you're wanting like a suede option, they do lots of saturated colors but still things that you can wear with clothes. Yeah, I feel like those ones are really good. Louis Vuitton, my best belt in terms of the quality is my Louis Vuitton belt. I bought it in 2022, and that is far better quality than my Hermes belt, funny enough. So if you can buy a Louis Vuitton belt that doesn't have an LV logo, something a little bit more under the radar in terms of quality, I can vouch for that. But yeah, I think just having a look on Farfetch or My Teresa or Net-a-Porter, one of those websites, and just filtering through the different ones. Oh, and Bottega, they do have a lot of great belts as well that are non-logo based but great quality. It just comes down to, what you like. But there are lots of ones out there, but you just got to find them. Okay. The next question comes from A Daily Dose of Chic, and she's asked, is there one luxury house you would never purchase from? Look, I've learned you never say never, because the day you say you're never going to buy something from this brand, next week they bring out a whole collection that you're like, motherfuckers, because I never would have bought from you, and now look what you've done. So, yes, I think brands that I don't really look at or resonate a lot with me are probably like Gucci now. What else? Probably like brands like Versace and stuff like that. They just don't put out stuff that I like. But again, you just never say never. Next question from Lux_vibes for me. What SLGs do you have? I've got a few. I'm just looking over. I've got a Louis Vuitton pocket organizer. I've got some Calvies. I've got the Louis Vuitton clay. I might do a separate video on my up-to-date bag collection and SLGs, because that might be a bit more riveting actually seeing them. But I've got a few, but I have definitely moved some on recently because I just don't need 50 SLGs. I just don't. No matter what people tell you, you do not need them. Just stick to your, minimal rotation, and that'll serve you fine. The next question is from Mika Debbie's, which actually asks 2 questions. The first one is, love your reaction videos. I wonder what type of YouTube content you watch yourself. I watch a plethora of content. I watch luxury content that pops up that I want to click into and watch. I watch cooking videos. I watch people cleaning their swimming pools. I watch people decorating their homes. I watch ghost tours. I watch so many random different kinds of videos. I watch murder mysteries, unsolved murder mysteries, and then getting upset at the end of it that it's unsolved, even though I knew that the whole premise of that video was the fact that the murder was unsolved. Those ones? That's what I watch. But I watch lots of different content, and sometimes I just let the algorithm tell me what it wants me to watch. But yeah, all different kinds of things. I'm a Pisces. I'm very complex in what I like and don't like, and it can change on a very frequent basis. But here we are. You asked the question. There is the answer. And you've also asked, anything tempting you in the final JW Anderson releases at Loewe? No, I feel like my purchase of my puzzle up there, in my mind, I'm coining that as the J.W. Anderson final year at Loewe purchase, and if anything else comes up in the interim, then so be it. But yeah, I feel like I did good with that one, and we're going out softly, so that's what I have to say with that one. Dean Mason 10 has asked, do you want any of the Louis Vuitton Murakami from the 3 collections? I do not. Okay, I do not. These drops of obviously the multicolour, the cherry blossoms, and now the cherries, I feel like we've been in the Murakami whirlwind for a very long time, and I'm tired. I'm very tired, but I do like when people love these collections and they buy things from them and it makes them happy. So, you know, it's good to see that. But for me personally, there's been nothing in any of those drops that I've liked. I haven't even had that, oh, I just want to buy a little slither, a little inkling of something from this collection just so I can say I got it. I was like, fuck no, I'm not doing that. I'm not falling for your trap, Louis Vuitton. So I've been very good. So yeah, nothing, but I have liked, I feel like the cherries collection for me was the one that felt the most nostalgic, even though I don't really have that kind of vibe with the collections in general, but I feel like I like the cherry ones a lot. I thought it was very cute, and I like the denim pieces with the cherries. Again, none of them are things that I would ever buy for myself, but I like them for you if you like them. Do we have an understanding there? But yeah, I'll be glad when the Murakami book has been shut, and I am very proud of myself that I did not buy anything, because there was nothing in there that I wanted, not even a pencil case or a notebook or something like that. I'm smarter, wiser, older at this point in my life, and I know what happens when you fall for the hype. You end up selling it. So yeah, I did not want anything, Dean. That was my way of saying that. The next question is from Julie V2201. Any exciting travel for the second half of 2026? Do you mean 2025? Are we? Yeah, we're in 2025. I had to think about that. No. If you mean 2025, then no. There will be no more overseas trip for this year. I am going to I'm going to Sydney in a few weeks for a little domestic trip, and then I'll probably go to Melbourne later on in the year for a second domestic trip, just to kind of feel like I'm, got something to look forward to. And then in 2026, I'm definitely going on another holiday overseas, but I've got to kind of think about what I want to do, because I really want to go to Japan or Asia, but then I also want to go back to Europe because there are so many other countries I want to explore, and I'm torn. So when I'm inspired to book the 2026 trip, I will book that, but I'm not sure when I want to go and where I want to go, but it'll come to me, because when you've got the travel bug, you just have to go somewhere. But yeah, I'm really unsure, but it's one of those things where I'm so inspired by so many places that I don't know which one. Do I go somewhere different and risk not liking it, or do I go somewhere I've been before knowing that I will like it, or do you do both? So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, but we will see, Julie, we will see. And the last question that I'll end this off with, so this video doesn't take up the rest of your day, from my friend Lawrence over in Beverly Hills, the 90210. He has asked, how big is your collection? My collection is a very humble one. I believe it is a 12 bag, maybe 13 bag, soon to be 14 bag collection that I really enjoy. I love rotating through my pieces. Everything kind of has a spot, and I do like when I get to use the pieces at the certain times that I get to use them. The only bag in my collection that and I'm going to do, like I mentioned before, a separate up-to-date bag collection video with my SLGs as well, but just while I've been thinking about it, my Dior saddlebag is one that I might move on, just because I don't reach for it, and I feel like my Fendi soft trunk baguette in just like solid black with silver hardware, I can wear that with anything, but I find the Dior one hard to wear with stuff, just in my mind, and it's just something I don't reach for enough. So if someone wants it and, they want to DM me on Instagram, we can come to some sort of agreement, then easy. I'm probably not going to go out of my way to list it and sell it. It's going to be one of those things that'll just sit there, and if someone over time says they want it, then I'll sell it like that. Because I do love that bag. There's no flaws against the back. It's just not something I gravitate towards, and I don't know why, but yeah. that's, you know, it'll be actually painful to let that go because I got that in Paris, so it has sentiment attached to it. Why must us Pisces be like this? But yeah, it's just one of those things where if I'm not using it, I may as well go to someone that will use it. So if you are interested, send me a DM or comment on the video. But yeah, I'll do a separate video on all my things sometime soon. But yeah. You're all so pretty, I love you! So that is the end of the Q&A. My camera is flashing red, it's about to die, so I'll cut it short here, but thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of your comments and things that you asked. Please let me know your thoughts down below in the comments and consider subscribing to my channel if you've not already. But I'll see you all very shortly in my next video, which will most likely be an unboxing. Bye guys!